How do you break into Hollywood and sell your scripts if you don't live there? Well, in today's film, we're going to talk to a man who's done that. We're going to ask sniper turned screenwriter Chuck Husmeyer how to hit the target and get the job done from 1,500 miles out.
Ladies and gentlemen, the remotely piloted aircraft is not the future of war. It is the here and now.
First of all, I think I owe you an apology. In our previous video, which was how to write a killer query letter, check it out if you haven't seen it, I got your name wrong. And I understand this is not the first time this has happened.
My former employer, ATF, they brought me all the way to Washington, D.C. for an awards ceremony. I was given the Distinguished Service Medal for helping save another agent during a gunfight. And they misspelled my name on the back of the medal itself.
What was the scenario of this gunfight?
You want to know about my job?
The number one of my Dirty Dozen rules is subscribe to IMDb Pro, because you can't contact people if you don't know how to contact them. While the Pro version doesn't have everyone's email address, it has a lot of them.
Eyes on the objective.
You go through IMDb Pro, you find producers who make movies like you write. The same budget, the same genre. That's your target list, okay? That's who we're going to hit with these long-range strikes.
Good kill.
You don't bother sending queries to studios, to top agencies in Los Angeles. I can't tell you how many countless hours, days, weeks I've wasted of my life querying, Brad Pitt's company. Forget about that and stay in the league you're in right now and try to get to the top of that league, and then maybe you can move up, one more notch.
You don't throw the ball where the receiver is, you throw where he's gonna be.
Lead him by a crosshair.
Try and hit the development execs, or I would say even the creative execs, because if you get one of those as an ally, then you're in.
Sometimes you have to do some detective work. Say the development director doesn't have an email listed. Well, check the other employees. See if you can figure out the format of that company's emails. Is it first initial, last name, then at whatever? And IMDb is just a super resource for that.
Nothing explodes quite like explosives.
We can do a whole video on how to craft log lines. That's your pitch. That's your calling card. That's your sales brochure. The purpose of a log line is to have a producer or an agent or a manager say, send me the script. If it does that, it is 100% successful.
You're cleared hot. Warheads on foreheads.
Write a killer query letter. We covered that. Linda takes coffee with cream. Log line, title, comparables, a little section about the writer, and then close. You marry up your query letter with your target list. And then number 5 is
Rifle when ready.
This is the way.
I've heard from some writers on Twitter have been using Chuck's system, Linda Takes Coffee with Cream. One of them sent out 15 queries to managers and got 2 read requests. Top managers and another sent out 15 and got 1 request.
This is the least effective way to sell scripts. The cold query, the exact thing I'm describing. But if you don't live in Hollywood and you don't know anybody in Hollywood, it's the only way for you to do it. You fight with the weapons you have, not the weapons you wish you had.
Make no mistake about it. This ain't PlayStation.
Personalize your query. I really don't use Dear. Well, it's not a formal letter. And I don't generally use their last name. The movie business to me seems like a very informal business. I'll just put, Jim, comma, and I'll start my query letter.
Not hi Jim, or hello Jim, or dear Jim. You just go Jim, comma.
Decide for yourself how you want to, what salutation you want to use in your query.
Engage at your discretion.
3, 2, 1.
Don't send queries out on Mondays or Fridays. Their inboxes get slammed over the weekend, because I have a theory that that's when most writers who have real day jobs are sending out their queries. They're doing it on the weekends. So, some mid-level to low-level executive at a production company or just an individual producer, they're going to get slammed over the weekend. Don't send them on Monday. Likewise, don't send them on Friday, because people in Hollywood take every possible excuse to not work on Friday. They're at a festival, they're at this, they're at that.
Sundance.
It's like they hardly ever work.
The reason why Google and Facebook are the most powerful companies in the world is because data is the most valuable asset on earth.
You know, you take these producers who've taken the trouble to respond, and, you know, you put their name on a list, and then a little note like, you know, what did they respond about? Did they read your script? Did they request it? Whatever.
Master arm on, weapons hot.
You're starting to build a network, and then your next script, you already have a list of people who you know will respond to you, and you send them, hey, my new script is such and such. And, you know, that's how it starts. Now, you know, I went from 0 contacts to, you know, several dozen or a few score of them. And, you know, I can easily just say, hey, so-and-so, can you take a look at this new script? And, you know, now I have my own little mini network from, you know, 1,500 miles away.
I think they say that before you buy from somebody, you've got to have seen or liked 7 things from them. It certainly works with sort of, I've read about people who sell things on YouTube. Well, it's probably the same in many cases in Hollywood. They're not necessarily going to buy your first thing. Let's say they say it's really good if you got anything else. Obviously, you're going to put something in there. But if they say it's quite good, you know, stay in touch, you've got to be careful about immediately saying, well, what about this one? And then you're like a traveling salesman, and it's like, well, what about this? I've got this, I've got this. Oh, no, that devalues it. Wait, I would suggest. And then say, I'd like to show you my new script, even if it might be new to them and not new to you, if I'm saying. But yeah, those contacts are so golden. Make sure you don't burn them once you've got them, because they're so fragile. I wouldn't bother doing this for television. You know, it's hard for features, but it's impossible to work in Hollywood in television if you can't live there, because you need to be in writers' rooms.
Damn it, I lost the link.
Get it back.
I am trying.
Get a request for a script from a legitimate producer, and you're going to be all excited. And don't take that as an opportunity to pitch a bunch of other stuff. Don't screw up. You've got their attention. They've asked you for a script. Give them just what they asked for.
What's the 11th commandment of the Dirty Dozen?
Don't get too excited when a producer asks for your script. Yes. It is a very exciting time. It's the first step in like 1 million to getting a movie made. And if you don't get past that first step, you never get to the second or the millionth. I used to, you know, get really excited about it. In fact, I went and traded in my old Harley and got a much newer Harley Davidson based on, you know, what a producer told me over the phone. I happened to be at the Harley shop when the guy called me, and I thought I was going to make like $300,000 on this script. So I thought, oh, what the hell? I'll just trade in the old Harley and get me a new one. Well, that deal fell apart, just like most deals fall apart.
I did a video of 7 deal points you need in your contract, and I got out my contract and I talked about the difference between potential earnings and reality earnings. So this particular project, if it had got made, I would have got $650,000 with my co-writer. The reality is it didn't get made. There wasn't a rewrite, and we shared a $10,000 option, which is pretty standard. I've got contracts that if even a quarter of them have got made, I would be a millionaire many, many, many times over. But instead, I was forever a blue-collar writer. So when you get the big contract with the big numbers, as Chuck said, don't go trading up your little Harley for your big Harley, or as I did, buying a couple of Audis.
Having realistic expectations is crucial to not getting, you know, depressed and just getting out of this business and giving up.
Always be closing. Always
be querying. ABQ. Send out new queries. Find new people to send queries to. I've had hundreds of requests for scripts, and I've sold 4. Okay, so the return rate on that, the success rate, if you will, or the rate of hitting the target is maybe 1%. So, yeah, rule of thumb, you know, that's 1 out of 100 steps to getting a movie produced, but it's a crucial step. And the vast majority of writers, I believe, never even get to that step. So if you do get a producer, a legit producer with credits, he says, hey, let me take a look at your script. That's a good sign, but you got a long, long way to go.
So there's a lot of stuff here that may not be welcome news. You know, we're not trying to put you off. What we're trying to do is get you clued in so you know what it is to be a screenwriter. Stop chasing the Malibu money. This is how it is. And if you do this, you might then go up to a more reliable level where you can not have to worry about querying 100 people, you know, on a Tuesday to Thursday.
Good splash.
Scriptfella, out.